Welcome to the No Clue Podcast, episode 184. I'm one of your hosts, I'm Tyler.
I'm Mike.
Free agency weekend has pretty much passed. At the time of recording this, we are 3 days into free agency. There's a lot of stuff. Happening.
It hit us fast, like a tsunami.
It did, yeah. Not as surprising as I think most would have thought it would have been, at least widespread wise.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, I think last time we talked about the Kyrie saga in Brooklyn continuing. Him not sure if he was coming back or not. The Brooklyn Nets looking for teams to sign and trade him, or maybe teams that were willing to take on a contract with him if he was a free agent. They didn't find any. So he did opt in since our last podcast. And
what was the time frame? Yeah, it was like within a day.
Right. He opted in the day. He said he was going to opt in Wednesday. I believe it was either Tuesday night or Wednesday. And then by Thursday morning, Kevin Durant had demanded requested a trade from the Brooklyn Nets. So as soon as Kyrie did agree to opt into the team, Durant decided to leave the team. Allegedly, according to Woj and Brian Windhorst, that they do still want to play together. I'm not sure if I buy that or not, but they just don't want to be on the Brooklyn Nets anymore. At least Durant doesn't. So now we're at a place where Durant is looking. I guess the Brooklyn Nets are looking for places they can move Kevin Durant, who obviously is a major contract haul to move. One of the highest paid players in the league, obviously one of the highest value players in the league as far as what you would expect to get back from a trade. He released a portion of his list, and includes the two number one seeds from the last year's playoffs, which is the Phoenix Suns and the Miami Heat. However, he doesn't want to play for either team if either team has to give up its at least two best players. Yeah, at least two. In Miami, he said three. So, and the only reason he didn't say three in Phoenix is because currently DeAndre Ayton is still a restricted free agent. So, likely going to Miami, there's no way to go there without moving the three people he said he wants to play with, which is Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, and Bam Adebayo. And then going to Phoenix, very hard to get Durant without moving Chris Paul, Devin Booker, or DeAndre Ayton. So we're at that crossroads now, just to get you guys an update. We don't know who else was on Durant's list, though. Those two teams happen to be on the list, but they didn't say that was the complete list. So who knows?
I'm fairly certain the Clippers were on his list as well.
Okay. The Clippers on the list too. So who knows what we'll see in the next couple days as far as what new teams emerge. How do you feel about this? I feel like I covered everything, right?
Yeah, that was a good summary of everything, at least up to this point. And obviously shock, Thursday morning, I was shocked. There was no indication. We had kind of seen some reporting on KD having not talked to them. He said himself that he's not going to be involved in the Kyrie contract, which, the way he explained it as like a friend. So I get that.
Yeah.
And the moment Kyrie Irving opts in, KD's out of there.
Yeah.
And my first reaction was he must have a problem with Kyrie.
Right. I think that was a warranted first reaction because I agree.
But then when you think about it, like Kyrie's only coming back for the year. They're still looking to move him. I imagine like that was always kind of the idea that they'd still be looking at the options.
Yeah.
The more likely scenario is KD just hates the Nets.
Well, let me frame the Kyrie situation. The only reason why last week the team and Kyrie were working together with his list, who I think at that time was the Knicks, the Heat, the Lakers, who else?
Philly,
Knicks, the
maybe?
Heat.
Philly was on the list, I think.
Yeah, Philly, I think. And I think it was one other team. But the only reason why that scenario went how it did was because Kyrie had not opted into the contract yet. So had they not found somewhere Kyrie actually wanted to go, there was no guarantee Kyrie would actually sign the deal with Brooklyn for them to trade him. Otherwise, he could have just not opted in and become a free agent. So now that he has opted in, Brooklyn doesn't have to go off of a list from Kyrie at all.
Yeah.
They can trade Kyrie to wherever they want. He doesn't have a no trade clause, so they can trade him to wherever they see fit now. So Durant's list being different. Let's say Durant and Kyrie did really want to play together. Now it's really according to Durant's list because I think Durant might have a no trade clause. So let's say his list has Utah on it and they can figure that out, then they can trade Kyrie. They can make Kyrie a part of any trade that they do, even if it's a 3-way trade, even if they have to, or a 4-way trade where they have to send Kyrie somewhere so they can send Durant somewhere, which is possible. So now I think Durant maybe knowing that Kyrie now is to the mercy of whatever Brooklyn decides, that opens up more trade opportunities for extra teams to be involved in a trade for Kevin Durant. Because now let's say they want to do a 3-way trade where Kyrie ends up in Sacramento and Fox ends up on Brooklyn, but Sabonis ends up on the Lakers and Durant ends up on Sacramento, whatever. If they did something like that, then Kyrie can just be a part of a deal now. He's just an asset for Durant to be moved at this point. So
it seems to me he wanted Kyrie to get a new contract.
Right.
Because they are friends. Again, it's hard for me to imagine that KD hates him that much to the moment he finds out that Kyrie's potentially staying, he leaves.
Yeah, right.
The more likely scenario to me is he wanted Kyrie, since he was planning to stay there for a long time. He wanted the security of knowing Kyrie would be there for a long time.
On Brooklyn?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just my idea. Again, what other possible reason could he have for not wanting to be there?
I'm not sure. Especially since they've had so much freedom with the organization, with the franchise, with choosing the coach. They've probably picked what jerseys they wear every night. It's just they've had so much freedom with the players, the staff. So I'm not sure why he wouldn't want to be there at this point. When you say he wanted Kyrie to get a contract, you mean as far as him, like he wanted make sure Kyrie had money? Or
no, like a new multiple year contract.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, right. And Brooklyn wasn't willing to offer that. So
no, and nobody else seems to either.
I'm not sure if that matters to him as much because all Kyrie has to do is just play this year and he can get a multi-year contract that next year. Like that's not
But
a problem.
the idea that like Brooklyn is so they're so obviously they don't want Kyrie part of the culture.
I don't know if I'd go that far. I think this year after this year they're not willing to commit to Kyrie, but I think if I was Durant, I would think, okay, well, just bust it out next season and just prove that you can get another contract. You're gonna get 37 million this year, so just play one more year and get your money. Because all Kyrie would have to do is play 70 games this season, and they'd give him a multi-year contract next year.
But you're pretending like we're talking about two reasonable basketball players who are locked in on the game, who don't worry about who the coach is. They don't worry about how they're coached. They're team players. For these guys are not that. KD in his own words said, like, I was frustrated by the fact that the front office didn't take the time to understand Kyrie.
Right.
Understand what? How not committed he is to the team?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
This is why, to me, like, Brooklyn hasn't really shown any kind of, outside of moving Kyrie, they didn't really show the willingness to, like, really make their roster that much better.
I think the Harden trade made the roster a lot better. They didn't have to do that.
I don't know, man.
And Durant and Kyrie did that. So
listen, the point for me is KD is just out of his mind.
I'm not sure. I don't understand the timing of Kyrie getting the deal and KD requesting the trade. I don't understand. And
there's
really
something
nothing
weird about that.
Of course.
Yeah,
of course
okay.
It is.
We're on the same page then.
Yeah. And like I said, the only thing I could understand is if Kevin Durant's agent told him, well, if Kyrie signs, he can be an asset for you to go wherever you want. Because if Kyrie doesn't sign, it makes it a lot harder to trade Durant. A lot. If he's just a free agent. But the thing is, if he was a free agent and he went somewhere, Durant, I guess, potentially could have followed him after requesting a trade to go wherever Kyrie went. But, that might not have worked either. If they're really that close, it's weird if they're really that close, first of all. But if that's the situation, then that would work too. But doing it this way is just a weird way. It just has to be an agent run maneuver if it really is about them playing together, which I don't think it is. I don't think they want to play together. I don't believe what Woj or Windhorst says. I'm not buying that. I think Durant wants to get away from Kyrie. I think Durant is so bent on avoiding any media presence, anything that the media says that makes a little bit of sense. Durant spends so much time trying to prove it wrong or trying to argue against it. So I think this Kyrie situation, saying is downhill, whatever it was, all the publicity Kyrie brought to the Nets for the last week, I think Durant is just trying to get away from that. I really do. I think it has nothing to do with necessarily Kyrie himself. I just think it's situation. Durant doesn't want to play with Ben Simmons, who has drama. Kyrie has drama. Steve Nash has drama. I just think he wants to get away from that. And that's every time he's left somewhere, it seems like it rooted in some kind of inter-squad drama.
It's so bizarre to me. You know what I think? And this is just, again, from what we saw from them this year.
Yeah.
I don't think he wants the carry the team in the backpack smoke.
It's weird that he argued that he was the bus driver in the Golden State situation, and then first thing he does is say, I'm done being the bus driver.
Exactly. I think he's 34. He just got cooked in the playoffs. I think he knows Kyrie got cooked alongside me. a lot of these guys, Nash doesn't know what he's doing, but I'm not gonna take that responsibility because that's Nash's problem now. I don't want to be here. This doesn't work for me because it's not a perfect situation like Golden State was. The moment let's not forget the fact that he left OKC when the blame started shifting to him.
Yeah.
For the longest time, it was Harden choked in the finals. Russ is not a point guard, according Magic Johnson himself said that.
Yeah.
The moment KD chokes, and now we're looking at KD, all of a sudden he goes to the best team. Perfect situation. Perfect. And of course he wins because Golden State just showed us they're the perfect culture.
Right.
I think he tasted that success. He didn't like the criticism that came with it. So he thought Brooklyn would work out.
Yeah.
And he picked the worst running mate he possibly could have.
Running mates. Do you know how many games? Kyrie and Durant played together?
Good Lord. I don't even want to hear this number. It was 3 seasons, right? They were on the same team. 2 seasons?
3 seasons. Yeah.
3 seasons. Oh God. Is it over 100? It's not.
It's not even close.
Don't tell me it's like in the 50s. There's no way.
No.
How many games?
44 games. Kyrie and Kevin Durant played 44 games together in 3 years.
Wow. I mean, look, countless people have framed it in the exact way that you need to frame it. My guy, you left Steph Curry for this.
You know how many they played with Harden? How many of those 44 were with Harden as well?
Like 12.
16.
That doesn't surprise me. I remember when all 3 of them were actually playing, a lot of guys were getting hurt at that point.
They were 13-3 when they all played together.
Man, that's a title contender right there.
5-1 in the playoffs.
They did look great before Kyrie went down with the ankle.
Yeah.
But again, KD is such a high-level scorer that even with Kyrie out and Harden injured, they almost beat the champs.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like Brooklyn is missing anything. To your point, Brooklyn has bent over, done everything they've asked.
I mean, without Harden there, without Simmons on the court, they, took this other champs to basically all games that came down to like the last second for. Exactly. I mean, it was a sweep, but every game was like a last second shot close.
Yes.
So, I mean, when KD and Kyrie played together, Kyrie averaged 26, 5, and 4, which isn't bad. 10 made field goals. I mean, it just,
this puts in perspective, again, the commitment to the game, because Russ was an absolute shit show this year, and the Lakers are back in. LeBron's fine. AD's there. Like, we're right back. We're running it back.
Yeah. It may not be by choice, but yeah.
Kyrie was averaging great numbers. He was cooking when he was playing, but him not being there, KD said, fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah. To me, it says a lot more about KD than it does Kyrie.
Oh.
The only reason Kyrie wasn't going to come back to the Nets is because he just won a long-term deal. It had nothing to do with who he was playing with. Doesn't seem like he cares who he's playing with, unless it's LeBron. But other than that, it didn't seem like he had any other quarrels other than.
Nah, man. KD ruined his legacy with this, to me.
ruin his own legacy.
Yeah, especially if he goes to Miami or Phoenix. Bro, he thought the criticism is going to be even worse than it was in Golden State.
Hey,
At
I
least
told you
the
months
problem
ago
is it's going to
Durant
be
wouldn't
all
back.
on him. With Golden State, like Golden State was so great that they looked bad that they were willing to take him.
Yeah, they did.
Now, like obviously Phoenix and Miami is going to capitalize if they have if they could do it.
Yeah.
But Durant is the one that now has proven to us when adversity hits, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Now, like that's an indisputable fact.
Yeah.
Ruined his legacy to me.
Yeah, I won't say that till I see what team he goes to, because I don't think he's going to Miami or Phoenix. I don't care if those are his top two teams. I just don't see it working.
I hope you're right.
Phoenix is obviously more possible because of the Ayton situation, but Miami, I don't know. If he goes to Miami, I don't think Miami would be fun to watch, and I think Miami could still be beaten if he's there, especially by Boston.
I don't.
I think they can. I think so.
I think Miami's the only other team I can imagine him playing like he did on the Warriors with.
But will that win games for them?
Absolutely.
Not as easy as it did on the Warriors.
Okay, not quite as easy, but close to that.
Thing is, even when Durant was there, Draymond, Clay, and Steph showed up every night. Right? But Miami, who's going to show up with Durant every night? We never know. Bam played 2 good games the entire playoffs.
But now Jimmy is literally on cruise control.
He is, yeah.
Like Miami has, I don't know if they'll be able to like turn it on to your point against Boston, but they'll breeze through the season.
I mean, they'll make the playoffs. I mean, it's not like they're gonna miss the playoffs.
Like top 2 seed make the playoffs, absolutely.
Yeah, they did. They were the number one without him.
Yeah, exactly.
So of course they'll be. Yeah, I think they could still be number one, but they could still be beaten first round. To me,
I just think I think Durant is exactly what you need on a team where you have to question if guys are going to step up. Because Durant normally is he'll take all the shots, he'll take the possessions.
But that hasn't won. It's never won. That's the problem.
Durant is a different level scorer than anybody they've had, though.
No, I'm saying when Durant having to do that has never won.
Oh, that is true. Yes.
Yeah, that's my only thing. When Durant has won, it's because he had other guys. Steph averaged like 30 in the playoffs when Durant won playoff MVP, when finals MVP.
29, 8 and 8 or something like that. 7 and 8. Right.
So yeah, Durant can be that guy, but somebody still has to really step up. And I mean,
again, like
Kyrie didn't step up. Durant,
KD's not a winner. KD is proving with this move he's not a winner because as Draymond proved it, Steph was taking all the double teams.
Yeah.
I mean, KD averaged 35, and I remember those series. He never had to work hard.
No, he didn't.
He didn't have to work hard.
He was a role player on that team.
A role player.
An accelerated role player.
Role player. So like you said, for Chuck to call him a bus driver, or for Chuck to call him like that he's never been a bus driver, for him to get offended at that and then now prove that he's not.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That is crazy.
He's out of his mind.
It's crazy.
Bro, I'm honestly, man, I feel like he really sits on social media way too fucking much.
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. Somebody probably sends him those things because I don't know how he sees all of it.
Yeah,
I really
does.
don't.
He's hip to like the Nick Wright criticisms. Like, bro, he's hitting you with those at like 7, 8 a.m. Like, what are you getting off the court off your morning workout and checking what he's saying about you?
It's like 5 a.m.
Right. Even
Western
earlier.
time.
Like, are you getting up and checking that shit? It's even worse if people are doing it for him, if anything.
That's what I think. I think people do it for him. I really do.
It's just sick.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well,
And him
we'll
saying the
see.
quote about the people who weren't in the gym with me don't know shit.
I didn't see that one.
I don't have
He
it in front
tweeted
of me. I
that.
don't want to quote. Yeah, he I think he's only tweeted once since the request.
Kyrie's tweet was nice. You know, the world is, I don't want to quote it either, but the world was watching and I opt in or something, whatever it was.
Yeah,
That was
like
interesting.
he tried to say like regular people do. I don't want to get into it, but
Yeah.
I honestly, man, I think they're losing their minds with what people say about them, how like people don't get them. Like it comes with the territory. I would think you would be able to handle the criticism.
I agree. I do. So we will obviously keep you updated on whatever trade comes out of this. If
Yeah.
there's more than one, it looks like it will be more than one. But
If you
it will
had to
be interesting.
guess, who do you think will because Brooklyn is expecting obviously a top tier greatest of all time package kind of situation.
Yeah.
Who do you think is gonna be most likely to do it? Obviously not the 2 number 1 seeds, assuming.
I don't know. I don't know who has. The thing is, the league is so top heavy. I mean, in the East, all the stars are either on Boston or Brooklyn, basically, or Miami. So it's like, if it's not one of those 3 teams, I don't see anything really easy. So I'm not sure. Who do you think? You have someone in mind?
Not somebody in mind, but like I'm trying to picture the teams that would have a lot of good pieces to move.
Yeah.
And I'd also like to picture the Nets having some balls and sending KD where they want.
Yeah.
Indiana has a lot of good pieces. Sacramento has a pieces they can move.
Yeah. I think Charlotte has a lot of good pieces that are movable.
DC.
Charlotte was my first thought. I had Denver in the back of my mind as well. And maybe I think Toronto could sneak in there too.
Yeah.
I think Toronto has a shot. But those 3, I think
Toronto, like they're not giving you a star player, but if Pascal, if Boucher's in there, like you're getting like 3 starters and several draft picks, most likely.
Yeah, I would let Pascal go for Durant.
Right.
I would.
I'm with that.
I think you keep Van Vliet, you keep
Barnes
OG.
and Anunoby, maybe one of them. I'm assuming
probably
not both.
Right. You got to keep Barnes. Barnes is a must keep, but everybody else can go and you keep Boucher. They just signed Boucher, so they can't trade him. And that's what we're going with right there. Van Vliet, Trent, Durant, Boucher, and anybody.
I'm rocking cool with that.
Yeah. So I think they're up there. I think Charlotte is just a gold mine of guys who can help other teams. I think they're kind of moving away from Terry Rozier a little bit. So I could see him in the trade. We got to talk about somebody on there later, but I think they have a lot of pieces they could give up for Durant. I would take, PJ, Terry, Hayward, and one of their young guys for Durant. I think that's a fair, and some picks. I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
You get a lot of scoring. And
that's what like I don't know the what the trade would look like if it's with another star player.
I agree. Yeah, because I don't think any star player is misplaced right now.
Yeah.
I really don't.
And the way, especially with the way free agency has gone, we'll touch on it a little bit more, but it just doesn't really seem like the options are as versatile as KD and Kyrie thought.
Right. Now, I mentioned Denver. I think you throw Michael Porter Jr. in the trade and, a couple of young guys, and you just say, okay, well, we're just going to keep Murray and Jokic. Everybody else can go. You have a great team, and you get a lot of really good pieces. Michael Porter Jr. is someone that has, I won't say he has Durant capability, but he has best player on your team capabilities, especially if you do try to keep Kyrie and you bring Ben Simmons back with Michael Porter Jr. I like that. I like that squad already. Those three, that's a nice big three to me.
Bro, Jokic playing with KD he'd lead the league in assists like easily.
Yeah.
And if Murray's back, good God.
But I think that if you're Denver, why not? I would trade Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., Bones Highland, whoever y'all want other than Jokic and Murray. I'm cool.
Yeah.
Take it.
I mean, this is exciting because any team KD goes to is a contender.
It is, yeah. He's one of the few guys that can make any team a contender. I know Portland doesn't really have the assets, but
I know we talked about on air a little bit more, but Memphis would be a sick spot for him to go to if they could make that work.
See, and I would have said Memphis, but you mentioned having the balls to unload pieces. I don't think they would do it. I think they have the pieces, but they won't. They wouldn't.
They're a team that doesn't need to take that risk.
Right, they don't. Yeah, they got a really nice squad. They could come out the West with what they got, honestly. Yeah. But no, you're right. You're right. I think Cleveland has a lot of nice pieces.
I forgot about Cleveland.
Yeah. Sign and trade. You take Sexton, take Jared Allen back, take all our bigs off our roster because we got Mobley. I mean, a lot of teams can do it. They could, but
a lot of those teams, if it's not a star player, you got to destroy your depth.
Yeah.
You have to, I'm thinking a team like Atlanta, if there was a way, the depth is gone.
Yeah, depth is gone.
A lot of these teams, pretty much all. I mean, teams like the Clippers. I mean, even Phoenix, you're probably going to be struggling with depth.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why those teams with the really good cultures, Denver, Memphis, even with the depth gone, they have such a nice culture. They could interchange guys well. Miami, obviously. And I think Charlotte just seems like no matter who they bring out there, just all of a sudden becomes a good player. So if I was Charlotte, I wouldn't be worried if they wanted to do it, but
they haven't had like a KD level player to put it all together.
Right. And I mean, think if they somehow manage to keep PJ, they somehow managed to, I don't know what Montrezl Harrell's situation is going to be, but they managed to keep someone like him, PJ, obviously LaMelo, and really doesn't matter who starts at the two with that team. They would be nice.
I just hope it's a team that's not so complete that KD's self-respect is gone. Because if he goes to Charlotte, then you got to work for it anyway. So there's no problem there. A number of Indiana, DC, you got Toronto, you got to work for it.
Yeah.
Bro, you don't got to work for it in Miami or Phoenix. You just don't.
Right. Yeah.
It's literally you trying to copy Golden State.
Yeah. And they won't be able to.
Of course not.
To be honest.
Of course not. There's no way.
Yeah. We will see. We will keep you updated.
Good luck, Brooklyn.
Good luck, Brooklyn. Yeah. I would actually be more excited to see where Kyrie goes than Durant, to be honest. I think Kyrie can go to a lot of teams and make them contenders as well, as long as they have a decent rest of the roster. I shouldn't say contenders, but he could take a non-playoff team and put him in the playoffs if the rest of the team is decent.
Bro, I think he could put Brooklyn in the playoffs if he's locked in next year.
Without Durant?
Yeah, especially considering they're going to get, 2 starters minimum to fill out the roster.
Oh, yeah.
So
and Ben Simmons is back in the gym. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not gonna go that far, but they still, after KD requested the trade, a lot of their guys did resign.
Yeah,
A
which
lot of
was
their contributing guys said, "We're right back."
odd, but yeah.
I
We'll
mean, I was
see.
sure Claxton was gone. I was looking
I
forward to who he'd end up with.
I would have scooped Claxton up so quick if I was another team, man. I think he's gonna be good,
I
really.
know.
Okay. So now to a trade that did happen. Enough about trades that haven't happened yet. A trade that did happen. Rudy Gobert has been traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves in exchange, and I had to pull this up because it is a lot of names. Walker Kessler, who's a rookie. Leandro Bolmaro, who I'm not familiar with. Patrick Beverly, Pat Bev, Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt, and a 2023 first round pick, a 2025 first round pick, a 2027 first round pick, a 2029 first round pick protected, and a 2026 pick swap. So,
Which team do you want to start with?
Let's start with Minnesota because it's now that Minnesota has Gobert. They're going with a Twin Towers lineup. They call them the Twin Towers of the Twin Cities.
I don't know, man. From a basketball standpoint, I don't see it.
Okay.
I just don't see it. I think the game is too fast. I think there's too many high level perimeter scorers in the game now.
Mm-hmm.
And Minnesota plays like the league. They've for a number of years now, they play really fast. They get up and down. They don't really defend. Gobert to for you to really maximize him as a piece, you can't play the way you've played the last several years.
Okay.
And I don't trust. We talk about teams before with good culture. They don't have that.
Right.
Their leadership, Cat doesn't really establish leadership. Deloading is what it is with deloading. That's not really working. I mean, your most locked in player is in his second, third year.
Yeah. And from what I've heard, deloading is still on the block, by the way.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it's not a good thing if you don't have any good trades for him yet. But yeah.
I don't think he fixes he doesn't fix rebounding like people think. He doesn't control that. Maybe he does in the regular season, but he doesn't really change. He doesn't really elevate you from what you just were this past year.
I have pushback.
Okay.
But I'll let you finish. You got more?
No, I mean, my only issue with it is from a basketball standpoint. The fact that we're talking about Minnesota, coming off a playoff appearance, trying to build something. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And I have no problem being wrong and them being a vicious front court together. I just don't see it.
I think my issues with Minnesota last season and Cat in particular, I think this helps at least how I felt about them. And one thing about Rudy Gobert and his rebounding, you're thinking his rebounding on the Jazz was stifled by their lineup, right? Because the Jazz played with 4 guards and Rudy Gobert. So every team had 2 to 3 guys boxing Rudy Gobert out and nobody else, because nobody else rebounded on the team.
Yeah.
So it made it hard for Rudy Gobert's rebounding numbers because Bogdanovich doesn't crash. Donovan doesn't crash. Conley doesn't crash. No one crashes. So it was just like a crowd around Gobert, just preventing Gobert from getting offensive rebounds, from getting any kind of rebounds. So I think I'll say in his defense, I think the Jazz stifled at least his rebounding presence, what it looked like for the last 3 years at least. Now, in Minnesota, I think that this gives Cat a lot more freedom to not have to be a rebounding presence as much as he had to be last year, because even though Jared Vanderbilt started at the 4-5, whatever, he's really like a guard size, at least,
Yeah.
He's really like a guard that just doesn't play guard for them.
Yeah. Just physical.
But he did. Yeah, he was physical. He got rebounds. He has, great athleticism. But having Gobert there where Cat can spread the floor, I think Cat can exploit some mismatches that he really didn't get a chance to before because he had more responsibilities to be a big man. Yeah, and now I'm only speaking in hypothetical, right? I'm just thinking of the positives it could be. I think he will have a lot more freedom to be good on both ends, offensive and defense, because he won't have to be such a rim protector on defense, because that's literally all Gobert does well, at least, inside rim protector. Yeah, they may give up some blow-bys, but now giving up blow-bys, you have two people, you have a second line of defense. When Gobert gave up blow-bys in Utah, there was nobody there. Like, it was literally no one on the court that could play inside defense, and very few guys on the team that played outside defense on the Jazz. So I think now with Minnesota, okay, you blow by Gobert, but we have another 7-footer that can play help defense. That's something that neither team had, really. That's my only thing I think could be positive, and that's the only positive thing about playing with Twin Towers in general. I'm thinking of like the Powell and Bynum situation. Powell was really got a lot more freedom to pass, set high pick and pops that he really didn't get a chance to when he was in Memphis.
You can't compare what like Minnesota does. Powell had the triangle. Like, Powell played in one of the few systems that my first problem is now they can't play without a point guard.
That's a fact. They can't.
And I'm
not comparing Cat to Powell or the Timberwolves to the Lakers, because they had Kobe too.
I got you, but
I'm just saying it's just Powell's got more chances to be in other places on the floor when he wasn't playing center. That's all. And I think Cat will have a similar opportunity. Thing is, triangle or not, if Powell was their only center, he couldn't have done that stuff.
I think he could have. He wouldn't have had the same perimeter opportunities, especially to pass.
Right.
But he'd be getting post-ups more. He'd be getting a chances to attack more often.
But that's my point. I'm saying having the perimeter touch, that's what Cat wants. That's what makes Cat a little bit different from everyone else like him. He's so good because he's the quote-unquote best big man shooter ever. If he doesn't have, getting Gobert gives him more opportunities to take threes without so much negative impact. Because now there's someone who can rebound his threes. Now there's someone who can be inside when he is out there for a paint touch. Opposed to, it was just like they play like a 5-out a lot of times last season. And yeah, Russell and Edwards got to the basket, but they were the last guys back every time.
Yeah,
they got beat on breaks every single time. I think it helps.
Gobert's not that fast.
Huh?
Gobert's not fast.
No, he's not. He's not fast, but he's not slow. He's not slow.
He's slow for the way they've played, at least this past year.
But he doesn't have to be the only big man that's fast. That's all I'm saying. Now you have two guys. Now at least Cat is already down court when Gobert gets down court.
You know how I think it could work really well is like now the minutes don't have to be maxed out. Now Cat doesn't have to play, as much minutes as he possibly can, and Gobert has to be out there to protect the rim for as much of the game as humanly possible.
But they do so completely different things. I wouldn't look at it that way, really. I mean, at least maybe in a little bit, yeah, they can alternate, but because they play so differently, when one's not in there, you're missing something the other one does.
I just Cat. I don't trust Cat at all. I told you this when we talked about it, but
Yeah.
like he just showed he's a hack box.
Now,
Gobert is going to expose that more because now he has to guard perimeter players more.
Cat does or Gobert
Yeah,
does?
I imagine you're not putting Gobert on perimeter players. We've seen
You're
that.
saying Cat does, yeah.
Cat is the one who he's a little bit more mobile, barely.
Mm-hmm.
But like my issue offensively, it could work really well. It probably will a lot of the time. Again,
Yeah.
Cat's a guy who averages 24 and 12 playing on the perimeter most of the time.
Yeah.
So I don't think like Gobert really makes him take better shots. I know what you're saying about the impact, but
he can take the bad shots.
But Dallas did not team rebound on Gobert. They didn't box him out with multiple people, like you said. The Clippers
didn't miss any shots. Dallas didn't miss any shots.
But Utah did. Utah was missing a lot of shots, and Gobert couldn't get them.
Yeah, and they turned the ball over a lot too, and Gobert couldn't get back. So I mean and the thing is, I'm not saying Minnesota moves into the best team in the West. I'm just saying I think the only thing that helps is it just gives Cat the freedom to take bad shots. Now Cat takes a bad shot and it's less worrisome of like, yo, Cat, you took a bad shot. We had 0 rebounders down there. Now nobody's back. Long rebound. It's a wrap. It just seems like now, okay, you took a bad shot. At least we have someone that either could get a rebound, whether he does or doesn't.
Yeah.
It's just I just feel like it's more security for Cat to be more free. That's all. And I think that's what they want because Cat is their franchise guy, even though Edwards may be the better scorer at the moment.
I'll tell you what, man. This puts their coach under a lot of pressure to me.
Who is their coach?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
I'm not sure either.
Well, I didn't forget the Memphis series, watching it the whole time. Got no clue who their coach is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I remember what he looks like. I just don't remember his name.
Mr. couldn't call a timeout.
Yeah, there's some odd choices there.
See, like to me, Gobert, again, I like the idea that you have different ways to play now. But now you also have more ways to get exposed. And to me, Cat,
you're always gonna have a way to get exposed.
No. But Cat and Gobert now, like their rebounding upside is not the same as Dallas shooting them out the gym, as Memphis, as Morant still living in the paint. You know what I mean? Like I don't think the Twin Towers stop Morant from getting layups.
They just maybe won't be as easy. I mean, no one's going to stop Morant from getting layups, but they just may not be as easy. Maybe the outlet pass is harder. You know, maybe that's what they do. I mean, I'm with you. If Morant wants to get to the basket, maybe it's just going to be dunks. He has to dunk it on Gobert now, or he has to dunk it on Cat, whatever. And you're saying it doesn't stop Morant from getting layups. He led the league in paint points. No one stops him from getting layups.
But if you have Twin Towers that aren't protecting the rim, and even if they are, that means every shooter in Memphis is getting wide open shots.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Like to me, you're not beating Dallas with playing Twin Towers.
The thing is, they don't have to play Gobert and Cat out there at the same time the whole game.
That's
right?
what I'm counting on.
Yeah, and the thing is, and now Dallas has JaVale McGee and Christian Wood. I think Cat and Gobert is a good matchup for them.
Yeah.
They still might lose because Dallas is still probably the better team, and they have the best player on the court. But you know, it just I think a lot of teams are moving towards that. I'm not sure why. Boston is moving to the 2 bigs. Like obviously Dallas is. Somebody else is. I just can't think of it right now. I can't remember, but a lot of teams moving to the too big lineup. So I don't know. I don't know why it had to be Gobert, but it is what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, man. I'm
I
excited for
mentioned to
them
you off air,
on either side.
huh?
I'm excited either way. Like if I'm right, then yeah, I've
Yeah,
been right about Gobert for a number of years, and Cat kind of the same thing. But if I'm wrong, again, like this team could be really exciting.
yeah, they're gonna be exciting. I think for sure.
And if they
I do.
slow it down enough and play through Edwards and Cat the way they've kind of started to,
Yeah,
they're gonna be tough, man.
Chris Finch is the coach's name.
Hmm.
Assistant coach Pablo Prigioni.
Hopefully, Chris Finch will call more timeouts this year.
Hopefully, and they signed Kyle Anderson, and they signed somebody else, right? Oh, Bryn Forbes. So they signed another
I like it.
shooter
I like
and
it.
a ball handling passer. I like
Their
it too.
final piece, honestly, man, their final piece is trading deloading.
I would agree.
If they could get a quality, like Anderson kind of fills that, but if you could get a guard who could defend a little bit more, who could play a little faster.
If they got Kyrie, how good would they be?
Oh my God. I mean, I think Kyrie, the way he is playing with Cat, that's not a good mix up, but just from a basketball perspective, that's crazy.
It's possible.
They're a West contender for sure to me at full strength.
I've actually heard a lot of media saying that Brooklyn may want deloading back for Kyrie.
I mean, dude, I'd go crazy, and if they probably can't do nothing, but I'd make a move for Durant.
Yeah, they don't have.
They don't
right,
got
they don't
picks.
have anything.
They don't got any picks. I can tell you that.
Exactly, they traded all their picks away. So,
but we've spent way too much time talking about Minnesota and kind of hypothetically what they're gonna look like.
Utah.
Gotta talk about Utah.
I'm surprised Mitchell has not demanded a trade at this point. They hired a very inexperienced coach who was a assistant coach from the Boston Celtics. I'm not sure of his tenure with the Boston Celtics. And I'm not going to look it up, but
he's a random dude. He's like a random coach who's just been in a good spot.
Yeah. And Danny Ainge is the GM of Utah. So, I mean, I'm sure they had some kind of relationship, or at least Danny Ainge was probably his door into the organization. And listen, if he can coach, cool, but he is inexperienced. And I don't think that Donovan Mitchell was looking for that. Coming into this season, rough season, just traded away his 3-time defensive player of the year, other all-star center. So I can't imagine where his headspace is right now. But the team, they traded away Royce O'Neal. Joe Ingles just signed with the Bucks.
Honestly, man, initially just, letting Ingles sign with whoever and trading O'Neal, like you're kind of cleaning up some of the issues you had with the roster.
They lost Daniel House too, but I wouldn't say cleaning it up if they didn't get anyone for them, because they only traded Royce O'Neal for a pick.
Yeah.
So that's another pick that they got. So yeah, I didn't like Royce O'Neal, but trading him and getting nothing isn't necessarily better than just keeping him, to me. But especially if it's a Nets pick.
I'll put it differently. Maybe not like looking to clean up the roster, but they look like they were like just gonna adjust the roster.
Yeah, it did.
Now
it definitely did.
Based on what they accepted for Gobert and based on how and who they hired as a coach, they're rebuilding.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And to commit to it so blatantly.
Yeah, and I've mentioned on here a lot of times, Donovan Mitchell is one of my favorite players in the league. I don't see how you do that with a player like him at his age, who I think is, I think he's shown that he's capable of leading the league in scoring at some point. He's capable of being the top 5 scorer in the NBA. So it's just, you just don't do that with that kind of player to me, especially if it's such a long down the road move where you're getting, you know, 7 years into the future picks from Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't see Donovan Mitchell waiting 7 years or waiting 4 years for the team to be contending again.
And the
So
problem, like, you're not gonna lose enough to really rebuild like quickly.
why do you think that?
Because Donovan is not gonna let it happen.
Exactly. And that's the issue. Donovan is such a good player. He'll win games. I mean, this season, if they went into the season like this, Donovan would probably lead the league in scoring starting the season out because he just will not want to lose games. He's just that kind of competitor and that kind of winner. So he's just not the guy to tank with. He's just not. He's not one of those guys. So it is going to be pretty tough.
This is so weird to me. This is so weird because Portland was kind of in a similar situation for a long time.
Yeah.
And Portland waited too long. Like, Portland sat on it. They kept trying to run it back. They kept like getting a different forward, a different big man. And if like it took too long for them to figure out that Terry Stotts, like, it's time to go. It's time to get a new coach in there. It's time to move McCollum and get new pieces.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Utah is like, they weren't a disaster to the point of like they couldn't run it back.
No, they weren't.
And yet to them now, all of a sudden they're like, you know what? This isn't working at all. We're just going to scrap the game plan and run it back.
To me, they were just trade their pieces for other pieces away. I mean, I think it shows, I won't say it's disrespect, but it shows how the organization looks at Donovan. To me, they don't look at him as a franchise player if they do this. Because to me, I would say, all right, the team's not it. Let's trade Gobert. Let's get another big. Let's trade Conley. Let's get another guard. And let's do this again with Donovan and whoever new we get. And that's what Portland has started to do, at least now. They said, okay, get a new coach, coach that he respects. Cool. All right, let's trade McCollum and see what we get. Cool, we got that. Let's get Jeremy Grant. Now they're doing that. And like you said, it is a little too late. But Donovan now in his prime, it's like you could have made these trades and just upgraded, especially in this free agency. This was a perfect opportunity to just go for upgrades.
I know.
So I don't have much else to say about them. It's just
I don't think we're going to talk about them a lot this year.
Yeah, and I'm expecting Donovan to request a trade pretty early. If he makes it to the season, I would expect it's in the first 3 months of the season, probably. By December, I would expect him on another team. He just doesn't seem like a mid-season trade away guy either, though. He really does.
I think he'll stick it out the year. I think he'll let it be a disaster for the year, and then in the off season, he'll say something.
I hope not.
I hope not, but seems like a good character guy. I don't think he'll, ruin the team's chemistry to that extent.
And some of the moves Miami has made thus far, to me, has made it really difficult for them to get Donovan and for them to get Durant. But I know the Donovan to Miami rumors were swirling early, but I think some of the moves they made it really difficult. But now, knowing that Utah really just wants picks, they don't really care about, the player they get back. Anything is possible because he could just go for he may go for deloading and 3 picks or whatever. If they have any picks, they don't, but he may go for someone minor and a bunch of picks at this point.
Yeah.
you know, if that's what they are doing. Because if we're being honest, 3-time defensive player of the year, 7-2 big man, however many time all-star, all NBA player, Malik Beasley, Pat Bev, and Jared Vanderbilt. Like you know, looking at just the player
You
for
got
player.
bench players for him.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
didn't
So
get a single. Pat Bev is like a borderline starter,
yeah.
but you really didn't get any starters for him.
Right. And then the other two guys,
Wow.
I don't know if we've ever, I mean, obviously Kessler, we haven't seen him play in an NBA game. I don't know if Balmero has ever gotten on the floor. So I think that's optimistic for other teams because they say, all right, well, we got Evan Fournier and some picks. You want them? That might work for what Utah's doing. It might.
I don't know, man. I don't see this new game plan of theirs working out sooner rather than later.
Yeah, me either. All right. Another trade that happened. Dejounte Murray to the Hawks. For Gallinari and also some picks. I'm not sure what the picks are, but Gallinari and some picks. And
that was
Gallinari
like the first move that happened, right?
Waived. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you think about this? We knew Dejounte Murray was getting traded. We knew Atlanta would be active in this offseason. Didn't think they would be the ones to get Dejounte Murray.
Yes, this is a mystery to me. I was a lot more negative on the Gobert because it's two guys I don't trust. I don't really see them fitting like how the league is playing. Mm-hmm. This one is a complete mystery to me. I can't predict what this is going to look like. I can't predict if Murray or Dejounte get better or worse, or if Trey or Murray get worse from this or better.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't picture Trae Young giving up the ball, but at the same time, neither of them are really like heavy off-ball players.
Well, I'll say they haven't had the chance to be. Right?
See, I like the sound of that.
Trae has not had the chance to be off the ball at all.
No, he hasn't.
His career.
Only when he comes out the fucking game.
Right. So I mentioned last season that I was hoping Trae did get a scoring off guard, right? Someone who could handle the ball. I mentioned that pretty much all last season. I threw out some names. I threw CJ McCollum out. I threw Oladipo out. I think I threw Brogdon out there. At that time, I didn't know Murray was available, but I still wouldn't have said him because he's really not the scorer I think that they would need. I would think someone needs to match Trae's ability to shoot and score from the perimeter. And that's not really Murray's game, even though he's improved. That's not really his game. But I do think this is huge on the defensive end.
Yes.
Because Murray is I'd say he's pretty close to an elite defender, at least right now. And Trae not having to guard. You said it's not a lot?
No. So
no, it's not.
That alone makes him even more valuable than his Jordan stats did.
Right. And Trae not having to guard the best guard on the other team all night is great.
Yeah.
I think Trae being able to be off ball. Murray is a fantastic streaker. He's someone that, he'll poke the ball from behind somebody and take off and get easy layups. And Trae is arguably the best passer in the league right now. So I think their chemistry when it comes to that will be really good. The thing is, I don't know how much Dejounte Murray you get out of this, right? For me, and this is like a common theme with me. If I'm going to trade someone, I don't want like just a percentage of what they do. If I trade him, trade for him, I mean. So if I get Dejounte Murray and he's only going to be my Eric Bledsoe, like just my defensive player and guy who runs the break I'm not sure if he's worth, and it was 4 first-round picks and Gallinari. I'm not sure if that's what I need when there's other guys I could have got, right? So that's my biggest mystery. How much Dejounte Murray do we get with Trae Young? He's not, obviously, he averaged whatever it was, close to a triple-double last season.
22,
9-9.
21, something like that.
Yeah, 21, 9-9, something like that. I don't think he averages 9 assists with Trae, who already leads the league in assists.
No.
So,
and the problem is he's not, like, to your point, when you were imagining the other guard for Trae to team up with, it has to be a guy who could score in a consistent way.
Right.
And the problem with Murray, he's not really consistent in any like scoring method.
No, he's not. He's just really quick, long
so
arms.
the worry for me is
That's
going to get Murray's going to get you Jordan numbers some nights when the floater's going. And then other nights, he's kind of going to be a liability if he's just asked to be a perimeter shooter.
Exactly.
So that to me is like he's going to have to step up in an offensive area that I just don't know if he can.
I agree. Yeah, we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Murray is almost like if George Hill was like the best version of George Hill, he would be Dejounte Murray probably. So that we've seen George Hill try to be with other elite scoring guards, and it's just like he's just there. You know, he's just floating around the court. And I say that when I mean their body type is this very similar. They go to the basket very similar. Murray's obviously more aggressive, but long arms, great defenders. So I don't love it, but I like that Atlanta did something, because I don't think this was their first option. I really don't. Especially now with the news. I mean, now we know guys like Brogdon and Oladipo were available. Yeah. I think that I'd be surprised if this was their go-to, like, or all season they've been waiting to make this trade. I'd be surprised. So I think they're going to do more, but I do like that they're at least doing something, because they were getting stale as a team.
Yeah. And I will say, like, I think it makes Trae's game a little more efficient.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Even the really great thing about it is, even if we're getting a percentage of Murray, I think Trae's shots become much better. And I think he's one of the best shooters in the league, but his percentages don't really look like it because he takes a lot of bad ones.
And the thing is, he can be doubled. He can be pressured. This is before now. He could be doubled. He could be pressured 3/4 court. You can't do that now.
Right.
Because you have someone who can attack. You have someone who can get the ball out of his hands. He can come off screens now. Last year, Herter, Bogdanovich making that pass to Trae coming off a screen was so bad, they just decided to stop doing it. They did it sometimes. People think, oh, they just never tried that. They tried it, but they had no one that could get the ball to him. And now they have an elite passer, a top 5 in the league. I think they were number 3 and number 4 in the league last year. And Trae had been leading 1 or 2 in assists before last year. I think they were 3 and 4 last year. So you got a passer that can make that pass, that can get Trae open. Another person who can throw lobs to Collins and Capella, who I think
probably just
I've never seen anyone but Trae throw a lob to either of them before. So now you have another one who can get other people the ball. So that's huge. And like you mentioned with the Cat and Gobert thing, now Trae can take breaks. And you still have someone who can attack and score and handle the ball. DeLon Wright just wasn't that. I mean, obviously DeLon Wright is not.
I think he signed with us, didn't he? With DC?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, but he was there last year, and he just was not.
Nah.
The game slowed down. He's really a perimeter passer, so they missed a lot with him out there as the primary guard. And I think Murray definitely makes a big help for that, because Trae gets in foul trouble, shoots bad. Now we got Murray, who's another.
I also love, like, now
scorer.
they fall into most of the league falls into this, but when they're struggling or getting defended well, it's all jumpers. Like in a thought, because Trey's a shooter, Bogdanovich is everybody's a shooter.
Yeah.
Now you have a guy who, no matter we're shooting the ball well or not, I'm attacking.
Yep.
And I think, again, it maybe doesn't fit perfectly, but it helps them in the long run, especially in playoff matchups.
Yeah, it does. Yep. And this will get more looks for the big guys, big time.
100%.
Murray led the league in steals. John Collins is going to get some fast break dunks.
I don't know if John Collins is going to be there, bro.
Yeah, well, I'm just going off what they have right now.
Okay, yeah.
Right. What they have, I think they're going to be more active, but from what they have right now, they're going to get some more points for. Everybody's going to get more chances, more looks.
Still have that big man, right? Don't remember his name. Tore his ACL. Yeah.
Yeah. He's still
I'd like
on the
to see
contract.
him. I'd like to see him get a bigger role.
Yeah, he should. He should. If Capella's there when they start too, I'm not sure. We'll see, but I like the team they have right now so far.
Yeah, this is.
They
I have
Herter
more upside
also.
about this than Gobert. Significantly.
They traded Herter for Mo Harkless and Justin Holiday.
I like it. I forgot about that. That's a sneaky. You upgrade the athleticism a little bit.
Yeah, and defense.
Exactly.
Both of them are long defenders.
If they're getting stops with Trae Young out there, East might want to be careful.
Hawks were a team that were dying for one for two trades. They really were, because they just needed depth. They had no depth last season.
Yeah.
And now they definitely do. Definitely.
Yeah.
So cool. Last trade, arguably the most significant, and I definitely think we called this trade maybe a year ago. But
I mean, we've been talking about Boston getting a point guard for so many years.
But we've said this name.
100%,
I know we did
multiple times.
Yeah, and neither one of us see him as much of a true point guard, but we have mentioned, man, if they could just get someone like Malcolm Brogdon, who got traded for Daniel Tice and somebody else, right? I'll look it up. But he got traded for mainly Daniel Tice to the Boston Celtics, the defending Eastern Conference champions.
Yeah. And I mean, Boston before this move really didn't have much of an excuse not to go back to the finals. And now they have none, to be honest.
Aaron Nesmith, Daniel Tice, Nick Stauskas, Malik Fitz, and Juwan Morgan.
How did you get rid of like all the guys that were only coming in garbage minutes to get exactly who you needed? That's crazy.
It is crazy seeing these teams make these trades that are like,
dude, that's all collection. Like, let's just collect assets. Like, what are these guys gonna do?
I don't know. And they got one pick out of that.
Like,
I'd have to get 2 picks.
Stauskas is coming in. I'd be willing to bet he's not cracking the rotation.
No, he's not.
And he's
Tice
not. I like him.
Tice will play because they're going to trade Miles Turner one of these days. Tice will probably play. Nesmith probably won't get in either. I mean, and I've never seen Malik Fitz play. And Juwan Morgan, I saw him on the Jazz. He's not going to play. So it's, strange. But they got him. They got Brogdon.
Situation.
I will say Brogdon hasn't been healthy for a while. So
most of
I
his
could
career,
see some teams,
to be honest.
Right. And I could see some teams being hesitant about that. And he has no reason to be. He's cut. He's always in great shape. He's super strong.
Do crazy athletic things too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird how strong he is and how athletic he looks for him to really not be that fast, not jump high. It's kind of weird, but that could be because of the injuries, of course.
Yeah, but he
cleans up
exactly. Too. No, I actually think he was healthy. He played in Virginia, right?
Yeah, he played all 4 years. For some reason I thought he got hurt 1 year though.
That senior year, he did not get hurt. I can tell you that. That player of the
No, not
year when
senior
he
year. Yeah,
was, becoming a top tier draft pick, he was good.
yeah, it was him, Joe, Justin Anderson.
Yeah. Kyle Guy, I believe. Now, did
Maybe
Kyle
Guy.
Guy
Maybe he
Guy
was
might have
real
been,
young though.
yeah, he was like a bench player at
London
that point.
London Parentes was at the point. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wonder where
Virginia
he's
was
at.
nice for a couple years.
They were real nice. Yeah.
But we're getting off topic, man. I think this cleans up exactly the mistakes Boston made in the finals.
Absolutely.
Like we're taking bad shots, we're having bad turnovers. Somebody has to consistently play under control.
Yes.
And
And
I
that is
actually
what he does best.
like Pritchard kind of tries. He's just not enough of like an individual threat.
Exactly. Yep.
Brogdon is exactly like what you need at that point.
I mentioned they just need someone that's good at everything that can get to the basket and get people shots. That's it.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, Brogdon, you cannot back off Brogdon. You cannot play too close to Brogdon because he'll go to the basket and he'll get you 20. And if he goes to the basket, he's someone who can find kickouts. He's big. He's strong. And, I think not that Smart didn't kick the ball out, but Smart's drives weren't as much of a threat for the team to collapse. A lot of times Smart would kick the ball out and somebody would be standing there because they didn't help on defense. They didn't need to help. But Brogdon is a guy that you have to help on because he's someone who will tear you up in the paint. He has a really nice floater, nice pull-up jumper. So,
and the problem with Smart being like kind of the third player in their big three, I guess, is again, he's inconsistent. So he'll get you 30 one night and he'll get you 0 for 8 the next night.
But the thing is, even if he got 0 for 8, he doesn't make good plays for anyone else to get more points. That's the thing.
But that's the thing.
It would be
like
fine if he got
Brogdon to me is taking good shots. He's getting you the 10-15 if he's getting the good shots.
Yeah. And the good thing is if he doesn't, he's getting everyone else good shots.
Yeah, he's not he's not doing the really dumb like passes all the time.
No, he's not. He'll just keep it and just go score if he doesn't have anything. Granted, I haven't seen Brogdon play in like 4 years. It feels like
a minute, yeah.
But the Brogdon I remember is all
the Milwaukee. Hey, I remember Milwaukee Brogdon very well.
Yeah, and that even first year Indiana, I think he was hurt maybe first year Indiana, but the first full year he played for Indiana, he was a rookie of the year, I caught some games. Huh?
He was a rookie of the year in a very boring rookie year, if I remember.
For Milwaukee, but I want to say it was between him and somebody else though. That was
it was a little controversial, if I remember. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, it was controversial. Man, I can't remember who it was either.
Yeah, but Brogdon, Brogdon is exactly who I pictured when I saw Boston struggling and when I'm like thinking about who could help them.
Yeah.
So to me, they're complete.
I agree.
They're officially complete.
Yeah, I can't say that they need anybody else. No. I really can't. Yeah.
From all year, all we're going to talk about is what Boston's doing on the court.
Yeah. Brogdon redshirted his sophomore year after suffering a serious foot injury. So that was the year. I knew he missed 1 year in the in college.
And I swear, man, people get feet problems. That shit does not go away.
Yeah. Yep. Brogdon averaged the fewest points per game and fewest minutes per game in the Rookie of the Year awards history.
Yeah, he only averaged like 14 or something. 15 maybe.
Man, who was the other one I wonder that year? It doesn't say who it was, but anyway.
Yeah. What year was it?
16, 17.
We'll come back to this off air for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. That was Ben Simmons. No, Ben Simmons. Yeah, that was Ben Simmons' actual rookie year.
That's right. That's right. That was a surprise. It wasn't as controversial as I thought, but it was a surprise. That's what it was.
Well, it was. Let me tell you who was in the class: Ingram, Jaylen Brown, Buddy Hield, Jamal Murray, Sabonis, Siakam, Dejounte Murray.
Who
All these,
all
I mean,
hey, they all turned out great, but they were not ready year one like Brogdon was.
Brown and Ingram had good rookie years, and Buddy, but no, they didn't have it like Brogdon. I think Buddy probably led at least in minutes that year because Buddy was like Sacramento's. Oh no, New Orleans. He was New Orleans like go-to guy for a little while, but yeah, I don't.
I remember him
I think it
getting
was a
benched pretty quick though.
yeah, and got traded quick.
Yeah.
Karis LeVert, Malik Beasley was there too. Yeah. Anyway, Jakob Podol. Any more trades? No, right?
None that are like, besides like the regular role player adjustments.
Yeah. Let's talk about signees. Let's go small first. Where do you want to start there?
Bobby Portis coming back to Milwaukee was crucial.
Very, very crucial.
Because it keeps their front court at a really high level.
There was a lot of staying going on this free agency, which I thought was a surprise. Were you surprised by that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love Bobby coming back. Oh, John Wall to the Clippers. We haven't gotten to talk about that.
Yeah, not on air. That's right. I forgot.
I don't know what to say, man.
I mean, this is a great move. Like, it doesn't even matter if he doesn't give them much. It's a great move.
They're another team we mentioned for the past 3 years needing a point guard, and they absolutely got it. I mean, for a steal, for nothing, basically.
But like whoever was getting him, that was going to be the case.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he was going to help a team substantially, regardless of who the team was.
Yeah, but you would think that a team that had more money would have been able, like, would have gotten him, or a team that would actually really, really need him. Like Clippers needed a point guard, but they didn't need John Wall. You know what I'm saying? They needed a point guard, but they didn't need ex rookie of the year, ex all-star, triple double threat point guard. That's what I mean. So he's a pretty big pickup for them, especially this year. They're looking into contending.
Yeah, man. I
think
healthy. Their health is their only piece that they're missing.
Yeah.
Which I don't trust that it'll be there all year, but hopefully I'm wrong on that one too.
Yeah. Yeah. Looks good for them, man. I think he's gonna be really nice on the break for them. I think they're gonna get a lot of easy baskets thanks to him. I think their offense gets cleaned up a lot too if they use him right. I think he cleans up their offense big time.
And I love the idea of him playing with just Paul George, like, because Kawhi, I'm sure, will be sitting out every now and then. I really want to see just them two playing together a lot.
It's bad when you don't want to see the team's best player.
No. In the playoffs, I want to see everybody. But during the year, I actually want to see, because like the way they played without Kawhi this year, I think Wall fits that flawlessly.
I agree.
So, like, we talked about this off air too, but it's really up to Kawhi to put it all together.
Yeah. Yep.
The team is ready. They showed this year that they're ready to me.
Yeah, they were really competitive this year too. Yeah. Really competitive. Let's see, what else? Who else do we have?
Trade-wise, I can't think of anybody. Anybody significant, at least.
I want to talk real quick about the Lakers' outstanding free agents. Oh,
Yo, they make the Knicks look good. They make the Knicks look like they're having a fire off season.
Right. The Lakers have lost Malik Monk, who signed with the Sacramento Kings, which will be fun. Him and De'Aaron Fox are back together. Kentucky duo. Who else did they lose? Not sure if they've lost anyone else.
Nobody that matters.
But in exchange, they signed Juan Toscano Anderson, the defending champ.
A little championship pedigree there.
Championship pedigree. They signed Troy Brown Jr., former DC Wizard and Chicago Bull. They signed Damian Jones. I believe he has a ring with Golden State.
I believe he does too.
And they
get to the signature signing.
Lonnie Walker IV, who will take the place of their dynamic scorer.
Man, Lakers are hilarious, dude. The Lakers are so funny. You know what sucks is I think Lonnie Walker to like a Milwaukee or any of these, like a Toronto, would be vicious. I think he'd have a huge impact. I think he has easily 6-man capabilities.
Yeah.
And he went to where they're probably gonna fuck his career up.
Yeah.
Because all we're gonna see, I'm ready to see it now. Bricks. Yeah. That's all we're gonna see from Lonnie Walker next year.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, it'll ruin his career.
I think he'll have like one good game every like 10 games that he gets like 20 plus minutes.
Which is, he'll be worse than what Malik Monk was.
Yeah, for sure.
Like at least Monk really would go off every now and then.
Right.
Walker's like a 20-point guy and going off.
Yeah, that's his going off. You're right.
The Lakers are just random shit. Let's just scoot random shit because nobody wants to come here.
I really don't get why Juan Toscano Anderson's gone. Let me just talk about the Warriors real quick. The amount of players as the Warriors, players, coaches, just team affiliated players that they've lost is just kind of nuts.
It's a lot.
They lose Juan Toscano Anderson. They lose Otto Porter, who signed with the Raptors. They lost Damian Lee, who signed with the Suns. They lost Bielisa, who signed overseas.
Yeah.
I'm missing somebody. I think I'm missing somebody. Maybe not. They lose Barbosa, who was one of their player development coaches.
You lost who was the Mike Brown?
Lost Mike Brown, who's their assistant coach.
Was their lead assistant.
It's kind of strange, if I'm being honest. And all they did was sign Dante DiVincenzo,
which is solid. It's not bad.
Yeah, not bad when he gets healthy.
It's tough because the Warriors, the job is very simple. Like you just need depth. It doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to like be complete and fill out the positions well. You just need guys who fit what you're doing, which is essentially any fucking NBA level player.
Right.
But like, again, you need the depth. Now you don't have it. Now more pressure, more weight on Steph.
Yep.
Clay, who don't forget is coming off of, being out 2 years.
Yep.
Steph is not a carry the year and play 82 games guy.
Not at all.
He was setting up their lottery year. He was setting up an MVP candidate and just couldn't. I mean, he just couldn't keep that going because it was too much work.
Right.
Again, now you can't really sub Draymond Green and expect people to step in. And and pick up the slack because you don't have that.
Right.
Without Bielitsa, without hypothetically, if they lose Porter, you
They
just
lost
don't.
Porter.
Right. So you don't even have it.
Oh, Gary Payton. They lost Gary Payton the second to Portland.
Another guy who, like, again, like Steph, you got to sub him out.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of how the game works.
Yep.
And now, like, you're just putting Steph in a tough, you're putting your 3 stars, you're putting Wiggins in a tougher spot. I think the depth is the only thing that keeps them from repeating.
I agree. They did sign Looney back. I assume
huge.
Andre Iguodala. Yeah, that was big. I assume Andre Iguodala moves into Barbosa's role now, actually, as player development, not necessarily assistant coach. But yeah, they lost every free agent other than Looney so far.
And that's
I guess
the thing.
they still have.
I would have told you coming in like, yo, Looney's the most important one.
Yeah.
But not if you're losing everyone else.
Exactly. Yeah. And the thing
it's not
is,
like they overpaid him.
No, they didn't. And the thing is, I think, in my opinion, the other guys have to be replaced, at least with what they do, right? Like, you don't need Otto Porter, but you need someone who can play the 4 and can hit a 3. You need that. They need that somewhere. Same as Bielitsa. They need somebody like that. Iguodala's gone. They need someone with length that can play some defense. Gary Payton II, they need someone who can play versatile defense off the bench. Rest of the guys that didn't play, I mean, it is what it is, but losing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys and only getting one back, it's tough.
Hey, I mean, as a competitor, though, I think Steph, Clay, and Draymond and Wiggins are in an awesome spot.
I do too. And the thing is, we haven't seen full healthy Clay yet, in my opinion.
No, I think a full off season of training is what a guy really needs to get back.
Yeah, so we're getting more Clay than we did, but not. I mean, there's still guys, and there's still a lot of free agents out there. It's still relatively early, as far as free agency goes. So, and there's still room for trades as well. But yeah.
But if they could get another guy or two like DiVincenzo, they're fine.
I agree.
Again, a guy to come in and contribute, which is DiVincenzo's high IQ player. He'll move the ball. He'll attack whatever based on whatever shots he's getting. It's a perfect fit.
I agree. I think they need another Otto Porter to be like back-to-back champions. But as far as them being good and, still competitive, still high playoff seed, they're good with what they got. Like you said, with DiVincenzo, someone else like him, they'll be fine. But I think they'll miss Gary Payton II and Otto Porter if they want to repeat.
Yeah, man. I just the grind of the season. Like, if they're healthy, I'm not worried about how they match up with people either way. Mm-hmm. But like, it's harder to be healthy when you got less guys to throw out there during the year.
And less specialists. That's the thing, they're losing specialists, Yeah.
But
that's what you need off the bench.
They're also in a spot where, again, best G League development probably in the league. So wouldn't be surprised at all if we get some new guy we've never heard before to pop off. And then Kuminga has to get clocked next year.
Has to, yeah.
Wiseman, praying is healthy next year for some of the year.
Yeah.
So like they're not in an awful spot. They're just in a dangerous spot.
Right. All right. Let's see. The Bulls, real quick.
Yes.
They signed Andre Drummond. They signed Goran Dragic. Sorry. I don't think they lost anybody other than Troy Brown Jr. And Tristan Thompson.
See ya. We had a good run. Nice knowing
I
you.
actually think they signed Tony Bradley back early, like real early in the free agency.
It's kind of random, but all right.
Yeah. And then they obviously kept Zach LaVine, and they signed Derrick Jones Jr. back as well. Most of their free agents were expendable. I guess Tony Bradley, they just gave an extension or a option to. But yeah, their free agents were Troy Brown Jr., Tyler Cook, Malcolm Hill, Derrick Jones Jr., Zach LaVine, Matt Thomas, and Tristan Thompson. They lose everybody but Zach, Derrick. They sign Drummond and Dragic.
They didn't lose a soul to me.
And they only got better.
Bro, they did like exactly what we wanted them to do.
Yeah.
Maybe I would have liked for them to get a better center. But now, honestly, to be honest, Drummond is solid. Because at least now when you take Vucevic out the game, who's doing nothing but shooting jumpers, you get a guy in there who's only around the rim.
Who's one of the best rebounders ever. Yeah. One of the best rebounders ever, athletic freak, great lob threat. He's someone who just plays hard every game. Drummond, he's heavy-footed, but he picks up off the screen pretty well for someone his size. Yeah. Like he's not locked down D, but for some reason I've always noticed it. But if someone sets a pick and Drummond is there, he's not like an easy blow by.
No.
Unless
because he's so athletic.
Morant. Yeah, he is. Yeah. Yep.
So I think it's the perfect fit for them. Obviously, LaVine was the biggest piece to bring back. They did that.
Yeah.
Dragic gives you the only thing their guard play was missing last year was probably veteran leadership. They got that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine DeRozan slowing down because teams couldn't stop him from playing his game last year.
Right. And a few times they did, it was because they were missing everybody. Everybody was hurt. Yeah, Patrick Williams was hurt. LaVine was in and out a lot of the season. They were missing both their guards. Now, even if Lonzo misses more time, which we're expecting him to, they have Dragic, who's another great, who played great last season too.
And now you get another year of Dosunmu developing, so he's going to be better. He already looked good.
Yep.
Like this, again, they did exactly what I wanted. We talked about right after the year, we talked about them running it back.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. I love it.
Yeah, and even in the playoffs, they obviously they ran up against the defending champions. That's a thing in itself. They weren't fully healthy. This is Billy's first year with these guys. I would say he had the hardest job in the league this season as far as chemistry. All right, I got to get Zach LaVine, who takes 25 shots, with DeRozan, who takes 25 shots, with Vucevic, who's used to taking 20 plus shots. Getting them all to work without a point guard is, super crazy difficult.
Yeah.
So next year going in, he probably has learned from the mistakes that they had in the playoffs and new outlook on the team. I'm excited for them. Big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
I think they're only going to get better. I think, they should have pushed. If they were healthy, they would have gave Milwaukee a lot more trouble without Middleton.
Yeah.
Once Middleton went out, the front court and the role players played well and kind of took over. That doesn't happen with Chicago healthy, with LaVine healthy, with now a big man that's a purely inside player.
Yep.
I mean, they're set to me.
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah. Now, lastly, let's talk about some of the remaining free agents out there. There are still a few nice names. I guess not that nice. I guess the Lakers haven't re-signed Carmelo yet, so Carmelo is still a free agent. DeMarcus Cousins, who had a pretty decent comeback season last year, although he wasn't fully healthy.
I don't get. He's come back. He's not coming back. He's back.
Yeah. I
don't know why the league is not ready for it.
Right. And he looked great. I mean, he looked great last season to me. Great. Avery Bradley, Serge Ibaka is out there. Markieff Morris is out there. Austin Rivers is out there. Hassan Whiteside is out there. Decent backup big. Thomas Bryant is a young backup big that I think is a nice addition to a team. If you don't have someone like him, I think he's someone that is nice to have. He likes to spread the floor. He's not bad. TJ Warren coming off an injury, currently an unrestricted free agent, hasn't been signed yet.
TJ Warren's a guy I mentioned foot problems. One foot problem turned into years of foot problems.
Yeah. Yep. Colin Sexton, who another coming off an injury, but showed that he's talented scorer, talented defender, good guard, good, really young guard in the league.
It sucks that he got hurt because he would have got paid this offseason.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And
There's a good chance he still gets paid.
Yeah, and he's someone that really doesn't have a lot of negatives. I mean, if your team is decent, he's not going to bring a lot of negatives to the roster. LaMarcus Aldridge came back last season. Not sure where he is health-wise. James Johnson is still available. Blake Griffin is still available. Montrezl Harrell is actually an unrestricted free agent, dealing with legal issues. Miles Bridges is a restricted free agent, also dealing with legal issues.
Dealing with both dealing with severe legal issues.
Severe, yeah.
Not like a slap on the wrist. He'll be back soon. A lot tougher than that.
Yeah. Rondo is available. Not sure if the players that were in the Christian Wood trade were waived or not. That would be Trey Burke, Boban, Sterling Brown, Marquise Chris. I'm not sure if they kept them or not, but if not, they're available. Campazzo is available. I think that is basically it. Eanes Freedom is available. Schroeder is available. Dennis Schroeder is available.
Yeah. You know what that tells me? Like, I'm not impressed by like really any individual name, but the collective tells me that the teams that are like close and need to make a move and are not doing it, there's no excuse.
I agree. Yeah.
There's no
Some of these guys are easy pull triggers, especially for a minimum contract to me.
Exactly. That's the Wall situation. Like, okay, maybe Wall doesn't play or he doesn't play well. Okay, so he's out the rotation. He's not hitting you hard financially. You're fine.
Right.
It's low risk and, medium to high reward. A lot of these guys, maybe the reward's not as high, but they're going to come in and contribute.
Yeah.
Like James Johnson in a lot of situations has played well.
Yeah, and he basically does whatever you need him to do.
Right.
He like fits to whatever. All right, that's what we're doing. This is the kind of game we play. All right, I'll do that.
Exactly.
He's one of those guys. Semi Ojeleye, Rodney Hood, Trevor Ariza, Kent Bazemore, Wayne Ellington, Dwight Howard still available. Jarrett Culver, Tyus. I'm not sure if Tyus Jones got signed. I might have missed that. If he did, I missed it. Okay. Caleb Martin is a restricted free agent from Miami. Cody Martin did get re-signed to Charlotte. Javon Carter, Wes Matthews. I'm not sure if they are back to Milwaukee. Josh Okogie just signed with Phoenix. He's still on this list, but he just signed with Phoenix. Running out of names here. PJ Dozier, Etuan Moore. Haven't seen him play in a long time. Paul Millsap is still available. Alfred Payton, Abdel Nader, Frank Kaminsky, still available. And I think that's it. Jeremy Lamb, Josh, it's the other Josh Jackson. That's it.
That's it, man. I really don't. None of those names
Eric
are
Pascal.
Like individually stand out to me.
Yeah.
Again, it's more about teams making moves. Like teams that need moves, they should be making them.
Satoransky is available too. I guess you guys didn't re-sign him. He's a good pickup too.
Most of those
but
guys,
yeah, you're right.
Like you got to bring him in with a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just bring him in and just like have somebody. It has to be for a specific kind of like situation.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And some of these guys are just, like you said, very low risk. Like Eric Pascal, if you play him, it's not
Yeah,
that much risk. If you don't, you just don't, you know?
exactly.
So, and then the big name, DeAndre Ayton. The DeAndre Ayton situation has not been figured out yet. He's still a restricted free agent. The Suns have already said they're probably not going to offer him his qualifying offer. That's huge. The max that would stay. So make him stay.
Tyus Jones, by the way, coming back to Memphis.
Okay, good.
Good move by them.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with DeAndre Ayton. There's a lot of names tied to trade for him. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Atlanta was up there. Chicago was there for a while. We'll see. I tell you what, Chicago making the trade for Capella and John Collins now would be nuts.
Dude.
Super nuts.
Nah, man, I gotta stop. These hypotheticals are too vicious to commit to.
I'm only saying because they've been in talks for Ayton.
Yeah.
So all the teams in talks for Ayton were also in talks for John Collins. So
Collins,
just throwing it out there.
It's been weird. Like Collins has had interest from the Wizards, from somebody else that was kind of maybe Sacramento or somebody. I was like this is not a fit that I'd expect either side to like really want.
Yeah, he's not someone that I could really picture any team like being dying for because he doesn't really impact the game that much. He's just fun to watch when he's going. When he plays well, he's fun to watch. But other than that, I don't think he hurts anybody. I don't think he doesn't fit in any roster, but it is weird to say like someone that actually wants him because he doesn't do enough for me to get on the phone and say, "Yo, what are you doing with John Collins?"
Yeah.
You know. All right. Well, I think that is all we have for the
real
NBA.
quick, I forgot to mention because I think I said the Nets pretty much are kind of bringing everybody back after the KD thing, but Denver getting Bruce Brown was a really good pickup.
It was a really good pickup. Yeah, forgot to mention that. You're right.
Gives them versatility because they're going a little thinner in the backcourt, so that's going to be weird. So getting multiple ways of playing up top that works well for them, I think.
That trade in general, we didn't talk about. Getting Bruce Brown there and the Wizards getting Monty Morris and Will Barton, who, I mean,
I like it.
They were great players for Denver. I mean, not great, but they were contributors for Denver. But as soon as Murray gets healthy, they just let him go. Huh?
It took Murray a minute, to be fair.
Right. They really just
what I
didn't
think
want to have
messed
to pay
it up
them
is Bones Highland being way better than they probably thought.
Yeah.
Like Barton, if Highland played that well, I'd be like, yo, Barton, like you either got to change your game or you got to go somewhere else.
Right. Yeah.
So I get it. And Morris, I'm a little more surprised, but he's one of the few like scoring point guards who actually plays the position properly.
Yeah. He's very steady, doesn't turn the ball over.
Yeah, similar
makes
to
good
Tyus
decisions.
Jones.
Yeah, very similar. Yeah. I think Monty probably takes better shots because he has a good
More
passer on the team. Jokic is really the point guard. Morris could just get out there and be aggressive.
And Morris is like more of a mid-range killer. Like Jones settles or he'll attack. Monty will take mid-ranges if you give it to him.
He takes any shot you give to him, which is one thing I love about him. If he's open, he knows to take it. Take that shot. Yeah.
I think he's a great fit. I don't know if he'll start, probably will, but him and Beal starting together is a good fit.
Did you guys get Johnny Davis in the draft?
Yeah. Might have traded him though.
I forgot who you guys
either we traded him or we traded for him. But I could be tripping.
Yeah. I forgot too. I don't remember, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Hold on, before
if you guys got a rookie
here,
guard,
forget DC. Before we get out of here, we're not going to talk about the Knicks signature signing.
Nothing to talk about, man.
I love how
They
the
cleared the
Knicks
roster.
I love how there's been a lot of reports about KD and Brooklyn. We don't really know shit. Phoenix with Ayton, we don't really know shit. Like, besides the guys that have re-signed, it's a mystery what's going to happen. With Collins, it's a mystery.
We knew like 3 weeks ago that
3 weeks ago that Knicks are going all out for Brunson.
Yeah. His dad played for the Knicks, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
That's what it takes for guys to want to go there, bro. That's it. Nobody else wants to go there.
Crazy thing is, I think it was only like 50,000 different from what the Mavs were offering them to stay.
Wow.
But I think it may have been, I take it back. It may have been like over a different amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Knicks were doing it 100 over 4 and Dallas was 100 over 5 or 100 over 3 versus 100 over 4, something like that.
Yeah, I
think it was 1 year difference that Mavericks offered him and he didn't take it. So yeah, the Knicks traded Nerlens Noel, Kemba Walker, and Alec Burks for nothing.
No. They didn't trade him. They salary dumped them.
Salary dumped them. But they got cash to pay Jalen Brunson. Kemba Walker's a free agent.
Huh?
Kemba Walker's a free agent that's available.
Yeah, he's a good one. But man, your Knicks are one good year, and we couldn't even figure out how to build on that.
Was it a good year?
I mean, their playoff year, if Trae Young doesn't go crazy, I think would have been an even bigger playoff run than it was.
If we had Rose this past season, I would have said it was a good year because we would have made it to the playoffs. I think. Yeah. This was.
I don't know about making the playoffs, but you would have been fighting for the play-in much longer if Rose was playing.
Yeah. What else? That's it, I guess, about the Knicks. Yeah. The Knicks are up to something, man. Golden State is up to something too. Telling you.
The difference is the league cares what Golden State is up to. Nobody cares what the Knicks are.
That's a fact. That's a fact. The thing is, I don't know what Golden State could be up to because they can't trade anyone because they let everybody go. So I wonder. The thing is, they opened up a lot of cap space by losing 6 guys and only getting DiVincenzo and Looney. So something's brewing. I don't know who it is.
KD, you don't want to come back?
They don't want KD back.
Nah, KD, yeah. If KD really wants to retain some level of respect, he can't go back there.
That would be hilarious. That would be the funniest thing to ever happen in NBA history.
I think you're right.
But they wouldn't be able to give him anything but money. So, and picks.
Yeah, that's true.
Warriors haven't used their picks really other than, I mean, they use Kuminga, but they only use their picks when they're high picks. And now they just won the championship. They're expecting to be good. They're not going to use their picks. No. So, and Wiseman wasn't even their pick. It was Minnesota's pick that was from D'Angelo, right?
I think so.
I believe. No, it couldn't have been because they got maybe Kuminga was. Because Edwards was the other pick that they had. Whatever. But yeah. Watch out for Golden State. Watch out for Phoenix. And watch out for the Knicks. They got something brewing for sure. Knicks are going to make a trade, I think. I don't think the Knicks go into the season with this roster. No way.
Let's hope somebody's willing to work with them.
Probably somebody that will trade everything for that leaves us in one season like everybody else.
Man.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for listening. As always, please subscribe, turn notifications on. Follow us on Instagram, No Clue Podcast. We will see you guys next time. Hopefully some trades have happened by then. And we'll probably talk about other things other than basketball by then. You have anything else, Mike?
No, man. We'll we didn't really get to touch on the draft picks. We'll cover that a little bit more next time.
Yeah. Full recap of the draft picks. At least the ones that we think we'll actually see.
We would have covered it today, but free agency has already been too explosive. So
yeah,
have to talk about it.
Yes, indeed. Yep. All right. We will see you guys next time.